Welcome everyone to our September 18th, 6 p.m. Selectboard meeting. We have Clarence from the Berkshire Eagle and Diego recording on behalf of CTSB. I'll start with announcements from the chair. They're both similar. One has a flyer that has come out and is probably posted around town from Gwen Miller of the Land Use Department that this Saturday we have a input or meet and greet, or what they call a visioning session, occurring at Lilac Park from 11 to 1. While I'm on the subject of Gwen, I don't know if Tom or anyone's announced this, but CPC is kicking off its season next Monday at 6 p.m. with the first public hearing for the new season. And then back to my announcements, the Apple Squeeze is on Saturday the 28th. 10 to 5 here in Lenox downtown. Vendors have all signed up, but we're just reminding everyone from the chamber that it's always a good event, and some of our people here in the consent agenda are finalizing their applications, so please come. That's all I've got for announcements. Anybody here want to speak during Citizens Open Forum? Okay, we'll move past that. And Ed, if you could give us the consent agenda.
Okay, consent agenda, appoint Sarah Jarvie to the Community Center Board, filling a vacancy. A one-day all-alcoholic request. Marjorie Court requests a one-day all-alcoholic liquor license for September 21st from 5 to 9 p.m. and a certified bartender is present. Where is that one for? Is that Bedford Hall? Oh, Bedford Hall.
It's Bedford
Hall. And another one-day all-alcoholic license. Bridget Wixom requests a one-day all-alcoholic license for September 10th from 4 to 10, and a certified bartender is available for that. It's
okay. That one.
That was also Bedford.
It's also Bedford, but you're on Bridget now, right?
Yes.
Her event is the 5th of October. She gave the app on September 10th.
Oh, okay. Right.
Sydney.
So I'll correct that and say that event is on October 5th. All right, so then we have a one-day wine and malt for the Lenox VFW, requests a one-day wine and malt license for Saturdays, October 5th from 4:30 to 10 p.m. at St. Paul's Parish. A certified bartender will be present, and that is for their lobster bake.
Thank you.
A one-day wine and malt request. Black Sheep Brewing, doing business as Big Elm, requests a one-day wine and malt license for September 20th at Kimball Farms. All the paperwork and certified bartender and all is in order on that. And we have a facilities use request for the auditorium downstairs. The Ponds of Fox Hollow requests use of the Town Hall Auditorium November 6th, 1 to 6 p.m. for their annual meeting. And then another request for the auditorium, the Village of Berkshires requests use of the Town Hall Auditorium October 17, 2 to 5 for their annual meeting.
To get antimony?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion? Are there any holds? All right, motion to approve the consent agenda. So moved. And move it, edited with the date?
With what date? Edited with the date I put in, yeah, October 5th, yeah.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Move fast tonight. General business. We have a license request from Pizzeria Bohema. Yeah, that's a quick sheet. We don't need a hearing for this, right? We're just amending their truck license.
Yeah, and basically looking for permission, I'd say.
And we heard about this in the plans too.
We've heard about this in the plans?
Haven't they talked about it?
Not that I recall.
The bond?
No, it's going to be, I talked to Molly today, it's going to be outside on occasion. There's no set dates. She's talking about like 5 to 10 p.m. And she's talking about like a possibly 3-member jazz ensemble. But only on occasion. Pardon me?
They've done it before.
They've had
Because I know Andy Ward was been up there playing.
Yes.
I'm remembering something,
Yeah.
but it's already,
Yeah. Maybe they didn't have an entertainment permit for that.
Possible.
That probably happened during COVID where a lot of things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
okay, well, anyway, does anyone have any concerns about that?
No.
No, it's closed in there pretty good. She owns both buildings around it, and it's jazz. It's not like it's
Hard rock.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and it's,
Need a motion and approval, Smith?
Yeah.
Okay, could I get a motion to approve this license request?
Okay, I move to grant Pizzeria Bohema an entertainment license.
Second.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is a one-day special liquor license request. It's Village Garage Distillery for September 8th. Oops, went by it for September 8th for the apple squeeze. And,
Could we discuss that one?
yep,
This is not your everyday one-day license. This is for, it seems to be a trend now for spirits, liquor. That you see it at a lot of events nowadays. And it doesn't fall under our normal wine and malt license issuance. But the state is, it sounds weird, but the state is trying to figure out what to do with these things too, and giving the town the authority to do it on a one-by-one basis. One thing I had a lot of people had concerns about on this one, is it wasn't just a tasting, it was actually selling bottles of booze, if you will. And now I understand that they're going to pull that, so I think we should make a notation of that as we do the motion. But so it doesn't conflict with any package stores in town or anything like that. So, I get a lot of thought. I think it's fine to do, and we're feeling our way here because I think we're going to be faced with this a lot more in the future. It seems to be a trend right now.
So what's your recommendation?
My recommendation is we grant it, and we make
sample it.
notation, just sampling. We make a notation about just sampling,
no sale, no sale.
no sale.
I'd say they've done a good carbon to a lot of local businesses too. It's part of them with different events and helping them do some things that they village those dollars into to help do that. So they're a good partner.
So I'll make a motion. We move to grant a one-day alcoholic license to Village Garage Distillery to pour samples, no sales, for September 28th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. during the apple squeeze.
Second.
one question before we do this. Are they going to be, I'm assuming they're going to be tips certified people there? Because we don't have, I didn't see that was in a packet for them.
You're right. I don't see it in the packet either. I assume they are.
certified, but I'm,
Yeah, it's their business, so I would trust it to have owners of the business they are doing.
But it's a good point. We should just double check it and make sure.
That's land.
Just before the squeeze, TM ought to have his tips certificate of.
Yeah.
Why didn't have it? They've done some stuff at Boston.
Oh, these people have?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, sorry, just let me the program.
all right, so you make the motion, then give a second now.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we have a proposal from Jeremy. He's proposing a concert series from September to May. This will take place in the auditorium at the school.
Town hall.
Oh, sorry, town hall, downstairs.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. Just a quick background on this. A couple of years ago, Chris Ketchum asked me if I would do my summer lecture series, which is now in its 43rd year, in the town hall, because this library was being worked on and the audience is getting bigger. So I he said, well, come over and let's look at the auditorium. This is before any work was done on it. And I said, I'd be happy to do it, except there are lots of things inimical in the place. And he said, well, what are they? And I said, well, the acoustics are terrible. The linoleum is 100 years old, and we have no curtains. So he said, well, we can fix that. The only trouble is I don't have anyone to supervise it. Oh, no. So I said I would. So in the last 2 years, as you all know, we carpeted the place, put curtains on, painted the walls, put a velvet stage curtain across the stage, and installed absolutely top-of-the-line sound systems. And just recently, a very, very powerful projector. And I was in there this afternoon checking out all kinds of things and seeing if the coordination between the projector and the sound system works, which it does. So in the last year or so, I've been thinking that it might be nice if the town of Lenox were to offer, now that we have the place, a beautiful venue with great sound, if the town of Lenox were to offer a concert series, would it be something we do, of course, not in the Tanglewood season, but in the what they call the off season, what we call the on season, September to May. And because I have a lot of contacts in the musical community, it could be a series that encompasses small classical groups, small jazz trios, maybe even some rock music. You may remember that in 2017, I put on a 50th anniversary concert here in Town Hall for the release of Sgt. Pepper. And we recreated the entire record, Sgt. Pepper bands. And that was a huge hit. There were people lined up around the block. So I think there may be an audience for this kind of thing. And so I wanted to just throw out the idea and ask your guidance on the kinds of, if you think it's a good idea to agree, the kinds of ways we might do it. Should it be free? Should it be once a month? Should we charge token admission? Should we charge high admission? Should it be a money maker? And I understand that this may be something you want to think about and talk about for a while. I don't think there's any urgency about it, but I just wanted to propose it as an idea that you might contemplate that would put an extra focus on Lenox and its town hall and its recently renovated auditorium.
What do you think a proper cadence would be? Monthly, bi-monthly?
I think perhaps one would start with a very small series, 3 or 4, over the whole period, and then see how it goes, and expand it if it's successful.
Given that it's the off-season, anything to bring more people
Amen.
into town.
I think it's a great idea.
To the restaurants, to stay in the hotels. It's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, the chamber might help fund it.
Yeah, the chamber.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you I know you led the charge on getting that auditorium in the shape it's in. And it's in good shape now, and we've set up a whole different plan now as far as rental for it. And a lot of people do want it. I think we really have to give some thought as to how often it would be if it's on a schedule. Is that a good idea? Does it limit other people from using it if they want to? It's a little we got to, I think, other discussion.
Community, that's at the community center.
Okay. But that's part of a discussion we should have.
Yes. It's just an
And
initial.
also the fee for it, we don't have in-house custodians here now. We have to pay to have the place cleaned and maintenance on it, that whole show. The bathrooms have to be taken care of, all those everyday stuff that you don't talk about, but it has to get done. So I think there are some things, it's a wonderful idea, but there are, from a, say, business aspect, there are some things we have to look at.
We should get a pro forma as to what you would anticipate the expenses to be. So I'm sure you have it already, but
I don't. Not for a whole season's worth. I just wanted to get an initial response.
exactly, no, first of all, I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
Number one. And I think everybody's voiced this. So you've got a unanimous pat on the back for bringing the idea up here.
Thank you.
But the devil's always in the details, as Eddie said, we've got some expenses that we have to cover, and
Yeah.
so if we had an idea of what the expenses might be, looking at a typical concert or whatever you want to call it, then we can go ahead and make a more intelligent decision as to how best to form it.
Is it something that is it possible legally to charge admission?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. And do you mind if I ask how much is the current charge for rental of the auditorium?
I think it's 300 now, isn't it?
Does anybody call
Or 600? Yeah,
Typically, if you're a nonprofit or for-profit, we have different tiers.
I see.
We can get you a copy of these.
Yeah, that would be helpful if you don't mind giving me that. And that covers custodial. And what about, do you allow outside users to use the sound system and the projector? I know the projector's brand new.
We've had to.
we haven't been faced with it yet.
Not downstairs, but for example, the Film Festival down at the school, they play the festival using the town's AV stuff at the thing, and then the crew team and other people who are fundraising are all in the kitchen making food for those people at intermission.
At Duffin, you mean?
Stuff it. So there's
Just a word of warning, the sound system is very, very expensive, as I'm sure you know, and delicate. And we did lose one of our mixers, which had to be replaced. And I don't know why it failed. It may well have been inside the machine itself. But one possibility that the supplier said to me is that somebody might have been trying to plug something into it or something. So we need to be careful not only of that. Well, we're now locking the balcony.
We're locking the door now.
Because we have a very expensive and superb projector in there now.
going back to the Duffer, I think for example, the art shop does with the film festivals, give them, here's what we want to play, and then the Duffin staff is in the media room in charge.
Right, but we don't have enough power.
Right. Okay. That's what, we all like the idea, we just got to sort out those things.
Good, well, I appreciate your time and your,
Just waiting for a second. So I think if you get more specific.
Yes.
With the dates and some of the details, because it's been a revenue generator for the town, the rental of that auditorium. So as you can see today, even a couple items today on that auditorium, just people having general meetings from the outside. So
which I was starting to do.
yeah, so if you lock in some dates and times and specifics of the need for the equipment, then I think it's down the selectmen got a better idea. I think it's a great idea. You've heard from them, it's great. We see some more detail.
Yes, and to whom should I send it?
We'll bring it right into this office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd start a nice dialogue with Deanna. You know Deanna
Yes.
in the office.
Yes.
We did today.
And, run a lot of it through her, and then she can feed it to us, and, we can go things back and forth, because, obviously there's some details we can work.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not thinking even doing it this year, but just kind of starting the idea, figuring out all the details, and maybe starting next fall.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Let's do it this
for
year.
some crazy, if we can get all the details worked out, let's have a couple of
It looks
concerts
like it's
this year.
$600 to rent it.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
It
what,
looks like it's $600 to rent it
600?
per day, right, per event.
That's for an evening or weekend.
Yes.
For the day, it's 500, 600 for the evening or weekend, yes.
And less for a non-profit, you said?
Yes,
Yes.
350 for the day or 450 for an evening or weekend.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm just thinking this through now, but there wouldn't presumably be a rental charge if it's our own concert series, would it? Would there?
We need to see a pro forma,
Need to see what?
a pro forma, something that, outlines exactly what you're saying, you know, that because we're still gonna have expenses, even if it's our own concert series, you know, and, we need to look at it at a break-even basis.
I mean, I would think the chamber might sponsor this.
Well, the chamber might, but, you know, we do give a proportion of our funds to the chamber each year too. But yes.
I mean, in theory, if you did 3 concerts at say $500 for talent and 450's called $1,000 in cost,
Right,
that's not a huge cost.
yeah. Presuming that the 600 covers
Right.
all the
Do
custodial.
we know? Does that
and all
cover the
that.
custodial?
Well, I mean, John does a good job setting up the room based on what your needs are, and then breaking it down from the meeting to the next study, so there's expenses there with
Yeah.
John, and then the
Yeah.
equipment issue we had, coming in at night if something happened, John had to come in, so.
Right.
On weekends, Saturday, Sunday, I think there are some nothing expenses. that-
But we need to make sure
And
we're
We're
covered.
not gonna make
The COI's got to, who's going to carry the COI? Is that
Yeah.
us? Yeah.
Right.
So just, may I just ask a couple of things in principle? In principle, if we run our own concert series, do we charge a rental fee? I mean,
If the town itself ran it,
yes.
We've never done it.
But
Never
yeah,
done it.
and that's.
Never-
No, but that's what I'm just asking in principle, whether,
We're not in the business
that
of
wouldn't
running
make sense to charge a rental fee. No. And what about in principle, just so I can put this proposal together properly, what do you think about charging for tickets?
You mean dollar-wise, or?
Yeah, well, should we or should we not, and
Do
if
we
so,
have
how
to-
much?
Do we have to pay the entertainment?
Yes,
Well, then we should charge.
can't cover the costs.
Yeah.
We've got to cover costs.
Got it. It can't be a line item on our town budget.
you want a blank, I mean, a break-even.
Yes.
Net neutral, because the town is not going to be the owner of a concert series and then the funder of a concert series, but we want to use town resources and assets to allow people with good ideas like you to use those resources and just keep it as inexpensive to the renter as possible and make sure the artists are compensated, which I think would be tickets, which is why I think we keep saying let's take baby steps, and the more we know, the more we can give answers.
Got it. Yeah.
We're not Live Nation.
Right. And we don't want to be.
Okay, thank you so much for your help.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thanks for the good idea.
Yes, thanks, Jeremy.
Okay.
Good idea.
Good idea.
Yes. See.
So we don't have any motion to make there. Just for more, so we didn't pass that. Okay. All right. New old host community agreement and
Oh, no, go ahead.
cannabis.
I'll give the only update I have on it. We haven't talked to KP Law, and as lawyers sometimes do, they mention error on the side of caution. That she doesn't think the new template that's come out with from the Cannabis Control Commission is something that we should really give it some thought if we want to sign that or if we want to not sign it. They have breathing room. They can just apply for
Next time.
an extension, so this isn't gonna cost them any business or closed days or anything like that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about community impact fee, and there is none. So, it's really, it seems as simple as that, but I wanna feel comfortable with KP Law that we're signing something like that that's not gonna bite us later on.
Well, and the governor's going to change
set a
leadership
precedent.
too.
Yeah.
So if we sign something for this, it would lock us into another community host
It
agreement.
would lock us, and we can't get out of that one, a new one.
Right. So we've got to be careful what we agree to here because we carry forward with our second cannabis.
Well, if we're gonna do a second one, we have to go under the new rules.
Okay.
That's a done deal. That has to be that way.
Yeah, I think we give ourselves a little more room to talk to KP Law, evaluate this new template a little bit more,
Okay.
and take it from there.
Yeah.
Because it is new.
Right?
And it's, and Lord knows what they're doing. They're having issues, we'll say. Right, Clarence?
I think we should try to give the retailer some comfort because they've already got the extension till early October. And we're saying you need another extension. I think because they need to renew their license. So without a renewed license, you're going to be out of business.
Yeah, from what I understand, they won't have any trouble doing that.
They should. They should. They come in every couple of days.
Yeah, I know they're anxious. Of course they're anxious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at this point, we're not charging them any money either.
That's right. Moved them. But they need to get their license renewed from the state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then what do we need to do for that?
Well, that's what they're disagreeing with. I think that makes them very good.
Oh, I see.
I think we should just give them some assurances that we're working with you, but just ask for another 30 days or something.
Right.
Get clarification from their attorney.
Yeah.
As much extension as they can get without us locking into something while we're waiting for the governor and the commission to figure out what they're doing
Won't be resolved.
would make sense.
No. Sounds good.
Any other new or old business?
Just one quick thing. Given what we've been reading about South County, about the bridges and so forth, I've had a few people ask me, where does Lenox stand? So maybe we could, at some point, give an update to folks as to where our bridges might stand in the area. Are they fair, poor, what, so that we could possibly get ahead of the curve.
Well, we just had a meeting this morning about that very thing. And it looks like everything's in pretty good order. Bill Gopp is going to check with the state to look at the bridge. It's between Lee and Lenox that goes over Lennoxdale, yeah. So he's going to take a look at that, but apparently there are no structural issues with it at this point. I know that Ed was speaking with him about the possibility of repaving that bridge, but he's going to speak with DOT, the inspectors that have to make those inspections and make those calls. And but we're pretty sanguine that the bridge is in good structural shape.
Good. So that's the state report?
We're pretty certain. We don't have a definitive yet. Bill's going to check with the state.
Well, it's been inspected, but it does, I mean, we know it needs maintenance. You probably know more about this than I do.
Well, yeah, so have you seen the DOT has lots of operations, but yesterday they were out mowing, because it's our DPW and their spot. But they have different yellow trucks, the traffic control truck, and then the boom truck that looks down under the bridge.
Right.
Those guys are out throughout Berkshire County inspecting bridges. I don't know if they operate to a schedule, but that schedule does get shared with towns when they find deficiencies, and it goes on to the DOT's tips list for status of bridge, and you can see on that list, in construction means they're doing something, in design means it needs to be done, and then pre-design means that you're going to see inspection reports. But usually there's some predictor within DOT as to when they think the bridge that is up in arms in Great Barrington, those reports had been furnished to Great Barrington. I'm not throwing them under the bus, but I mean, you were down there. They didn't
pay attention to it.
Yeah, and I think Bill's more on top of it than that. Again, not trying to compare our town to other towns, and just from having done some in Lenox and bid some in Lenox, I think ours are in pretty good shape.
Okay. I had one person specifically ask me about the new Lenox Bridge because they use that.
That's, from what Bill says, that's slated to be painted. Do you know something about, didn't you tell me something a while back?
I have a copy of that new Lenox Road Bridge. Be thankful we live in a town with very minimal bridges.
Right.
The Lennoxdale Bridge was built by the state originally. The new North Lenox Bridge is built, that's a town bridge. $800,000 just to paint the brick lane. That's what it is.
That's on that's on us.
That's right. And that was opened in 1966, I think, 67. So that's approaching 60 years.
The one across from the church by the pump station?
Yep. Yeah. And that was dedicated to the North Burgers in World War II.
Yeah.
So I got the bridge report because I didn't think it'd be foolish to spend $800,000 on to paint the bridge. If the undercarriage has some issues too.
Right.
If we can apply for some state money at some point, let's ask for enough to do it, fix it the right way. These other bridges around the county, they're all aging out at the same time. Then we're not there yet, but.
So would the state be inspecting that bridge?
They do.
They do inspect it.
They do that.
Yeah.
And we haven't raised any kind of flags on it.
There's some issues underneath, but nothing that's raising a red flag. But I'm just saying, we're gonna go to try to paint the bridge, because it looks horrible. For $800,000,
Let's do the whole thing.
$2 million and fix what's underneath.
Then,
Make it last 24.
so let me add a little bit to this, okay? Every year we put aside money for new ambulance, new fire truck, new whatever. Should we start reserving money for these bridges so that when something comes up, like the $800,000, if we had to spend it, we have the money in the account, we don't have to take it out of cash.
It's a great idea.
Fortunately, we only have two, I think.
But as Neil knows, bridges are bridges and culverts.
Culverts are culverts.
We're doing that. I think we had to drive, having that wipe out. It kind of made that was funny. Thank goodness it was a natural disaster.
Well, we actually talked about those culverts this morning. And according to DPW, we're in good shape right now.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, we're not in good shape, and it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money to throw at one.
So it's a good point.
Yes,
It's a real point.
stabilization funds for bridges and culverts would be a good idea.
So I would establish that reserve on this road bridge, be it reduced to one lane or shut down, and all people have got an island on the other side. So we just get out of it. I think that makes sense. I was so naive a few years ago. I thought we'd get a Boy Scout group to stay on the railing down and paint it.
Oh, goodness.
$800,000.
Painting contractors are among the hardest subs for any construction company like mine to find. There's only a few of them. They have to follow a zillion rules to not let any lead or dust or anything go into the river. So they need containment underneath the bridge, even if they're just painting the railings.
Yeah.
And you got to order the new steel, and they got to be there to paint that. So there's two mobs no matter what.
Yeah.
And then and they're coming from the east part of the state. So it's absurd how expensive it is.
So look at the one down on Route 7 going south.
Right.
They've been painting that for a couple of years anyway. And that's what it is. They're just painting. They're not replacing, they're just painting it.
But I do have the new electrical bridge report from MassDOT. I'll share it with you guys. You'll understand it better than I, but you'll understand that we're going to deal with it.
Quite a bit.
It's a good point. We got to keep on it.
But setting aside money is not a bad idea.
It's a great
I
idea.
would like to get ahead of this rather than react as opposed to acting. So,
Let's get
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Good idea, Dave. Thanks.
thank you.
Anyone else?
No, sir.
All right. Next meeting is October 2nd. And
So makes a motion to adjourn then.
thank you.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Thanks, everyone.